Hello and welcome. In today's video, we're going to explore one of the most powerful tools in psychology, the reframing effect. This isn't just a trick or a motivational slogan, it's a deeply researched concept in cognitive psychology that can dramatically shift the way you experience life. So, what exactly is reframing? In simple terms, reframing means changing the way you look at a situation without changing the facts themselves. It's not about denial or pretending things are fine when they're not. It's about finding a different interpretation, a different meaning, and as a result, triggering a different emotional reaction. Let's start with a very practical example. Imagine you've just received a rejection letter from a job you really wanted. Your initial response might be disappointment, frustration, or even self doubt. You might think, I'm not good enough, or I'll never make progress in my career. That's a natural reaction, but it's not the only one. Now, take the same situation and apply reframing. What if you thought, maybe this wasn't the right place for me, or this rejection is forcing me to grow in ways I hadn't considered, or even, this gives me time to explore other paths that might be a better fit. Same reality, different frame, and as the frame changes, so does the emotion. That's the power of reframing. But this isn't just about being optimistic. It's about understanding how your brain works. According to cognitive behavioral psychology, emotions are not just reactions. They're often interpretations. What you feel is directly linked to how you perceive a situation. This is why two people can go through the same event, say a rainy day, and feel completely differently about it. One might be annoyed, the other might feel cozy and relaxed. The difference lies not in the rain, but in the mental frame. This idea is central in many therapeutic approaches, especially cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. Therapists use reframing techniques to help people deal with anxiety, depression, and trauma. By changing the internal dialogue from I'm a failure to I'm learning through this challenge, people begin to experience emotional relief and develop healthier coping mechanisms. Let me give you another example, this time from everyday life. Let's say you're stuck in traffic. You're going to be late. Your first reaction might be stress, anger, or helplessness. But what happens if you shift the frame? You might say, this is an opportunity to practice patience. Or, I finally have time to listen to that podcast I've been putting off. Again, nothing outside has changed. The traffic is still there, but your inner world becomes calmer and more constructive. Now you might ask, isn't that just lying to yourself? Isn't it fake? Good question. The answer is no, if done consciously and realistically. Reframing is not about pretending something is good when it's harmful. It's not toxic positivity. It's about asking, is there another valid way to interpret this event? Often there is. And when there is, choosing a frame that empowers you instead of crushing you is a form of mental resilience. In fact, people who naturally reframe tend to be more emotionally stable, more optimistic, and better at handling stress. Studies have shown that reframing is linked to lower levels of anxiety and higher levels of well-being. It's one of the core skills of emotional intelligence. So how can you practice this skill in your own life? Here are a few simple techniques. First, develop awareness. Pay attention to your automatic thoughts in stressful situations. What story are you telling yourself? Just noticing the narrative is the first step toward changing it. Second, ask alternative questions. Instead of thinking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Or, how might this serve me in the long run? Third, write it out. Journaling helps you externalize your thoughts and see them more clearly. Once on paper, it's often easier to shift your perspective and find a healthier frame. Fourth, use distance. Imagine a friend was in your situation. What would you tell them? This often leads to a more compassionate, balanced view, and that's a form of reframing. And finally, practice regularly. Like any mental skill, reframing becomes easier with time. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes, until it becomes an internal reflex, a default mode of thinking. Let's be honest, life throws things at us we can't control. Illness, loss, rejection, stress, these are real. Reframing doesn't erase pain, but it can reduce unnecessary suffering. It gives you back some agency, even in situations where you feel powerless. So next time something goes wrong, big or small, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what other meaning could I give this? What frame would help me grow instead of collapse? The brain is a storyteller. Reframing gives you the power to rewrite the story. Thanks for watching. And if you found this helpful, consider subscribing for more deep psychological insights that actually help in everyday life. Let me know in the comments, when was the last time you changed your perspective, and what did it change in you?